Welcome back, everyone, to Anonymous Addiction Deprogramming Podcast. I'll be your host, Bobby C. I know I say that all the time. I haven't been around for a while. I'm sorry about that, but I don't know. A lot of things going on, and I just don't really have the space, and I procrastinate about it, and I got a little fear, really, coming on and doing some of these podcasts. So bear with me. Please subscribe. I need some subscribers. I want to get to the thousand subscribers so I can start going live. But help me out, please. Subscribe, like if you like it. Don't like it. I don't think there's a unlike button there. Today I'm going to be talking about RFK Jr. Of course, everybody's been talking about RFK Jr. confirmed to the Department of Health and Human Services by the Trump administration. I'm not going to get into politics. Really, don't turn me off real quick. We're going to be talking about deprogramming Alcoholics Anonymous and how Bobby, we got a lot in common. You know, me and RFK, me and Bobby Kennedy has a lot in common. My name's Bobby C. Robert on my birth certificate. RFK Jr. was born, well, he's Irish. I'm Italian. We were born into the Catholicism. We were born Roman Catholics, me and Bobby, me and Robert. So we got that in common, okay? We got a bunch of other stuff in common. You know, Bobby Kennedy Jr. has been in an Alcoholics Anonymous for probably 42 years, very indoctrinated. I mean, look, just like Bobby and myself have been indoctrinated since birth with the Catholicism, Roman Catholic Church. Bobby's deep into it, Irish Catholic. And the whole Kennedy family was Irish Catholic. First, John F.K. Was the first Catholic president. So I'm going to label this RFK Jr. the priest that's going around promoting. I'm going to tell you why I'm calling him a priest. You can call him a sponsor. I don't care what you call him. I call him a priest, and I'm going to show you during this podcast how I get to that. Okay. The priest promoting God, Alcoholics Anonymous, and the 12-step ideology across America. That's what's going to be happening. And I'm going to explain to you during the podcast exactly what I see is the reality and the truth behind the spreading the 12-step modality, making farms, creating the farms, the camps, the healing centers. So, Department of Health and Human Services. Robert is going to be in charge of 80,000 employees. $1 trillion budget. He's going to be the head of the CDC, that's the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, FDA, Food and Drug Administration, NIH, National Institute of Health, and Center for NIDA and Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services, and SAMHSA, which used to be two different branches. Now they put it into one, Substance Abuse and Mental Health Service Administration. Everybody sees that, SAMHSA, when it comes to substance disorders, diseases. No. Alcoholism is not a disorder, and it's not even a disease. Made up by the DSM, all the psychiatrists get together in a room and say, what disease or what disorder are we going to come up with today? So now I'll go back, because a lot of my podcast, it all goes back to the Rockefeller. You got it. The Rockefeller Foundation. He created all these universities, all these colleges, and created all these agencies from the beginning. I mean, he was involved with the creation of WHO. I mean, you know, way back then in the beginning. Well, that's a lot of the different types of programs that Robert is going to be in charge with. Now, myself, I'm not bragging, but me and Robert have another thing in common. He has about 42 years, still goes to Alcoholics Anonymous meetings. I do not. I stopped going about 7 years ago, but I had over 30 years going to Alcoholics Anonymous, and I was indoctrinated into the society, into the programming of AA. So I think I have a little bit of authority, not authority, but a little bit of knowledge, enough that I've heard and seen everything that there's to be seen. I know all the rhetoric, all the language, all the programming, all the phrases, slogans, all the symbols, all the friend of Bill's little stickers. I know a lot about it. But I have been deprogramming for years and years and years. You know what amazes me? How some people could say some people are awakened to certain things that have been programmed into their psyche, into their subconscious, into our psyche and subconscious throughout years. Robert is, look, don't turn me off just because I'm going to say I do like Bobby Kennedy. I do like Robert Kennedy Jr. I do like a lot of stuff that he's saying, but he has no clue. He's still deeply embedded, deeply programmed into the God of the religion of Alcoholics Anonymous, and the 12-step modality. Totally. 100%. I call him a priest because, Bill W.'s sponsor for over 20 years was a Jesuit priest. A Jesuit is they convert people into Catholicism. That was his sponsor. And I call Robert F. Kennedy a priest because he probably sponsors so many people. And it's this priesthood of like the Roman Catholic Jesuit priest. Okay, so there's where I go with that. I want to just touch base a little bit with Robert RFK Jr.'s started using at 15. Now look, his dad, Robert Kennedy, was assassinated when he was 14 years old. So yeah, trauma. Before I'm done this podcast, I'll be talking about the Kennedy curse, which Ted Kennedy from the Chappaquiddick. If you never heard of Ted Kennedy and the Chappaquiddick, check it out. Do some research. I think he almost coined it, the Kennedy curse, and I'll go through it at the end. 14 years. His addiction lasted 14 years. He was 29 when he came in. That's young. He was 29. Started to be indoctrinated into the Alcoholics Anonymous programming system at age 29. I started at 34. I'm a couple years. Robert Kennedy is 71. I'm a little older than Robert Kennedy, Bobby Kennedy. 42 years he's been indoctrinated. 40, and he still is. Still is. Robert goes to, let me see where we know for a fact, I've listened to 10 podcasts of Bobby Kennedy's YouTube channels. I've heard, I know him. Look, people that have been around as long as we have, indoctrinated into the system, we can hear things that others can't. We hear the slogans, we hear the occult messaging. Yes, I'm going to say occult messaging that is in Alcoholics Anonymous, the 12-step programs. We hear it, we know it. We know what the hidden messages are. Other people hear these things and they just dismiss it because they haven't been in it. They haven't been in the cult of Alcoholics Anonymous. Okay. He's going to be spreading this message to millions. So I'm going to have to be doing a lot more podcasts on helping people deprogramming from Alcoholics Anonymous, because Bobby Kennedy is going to be out there, and he's got he's got millions more power than I do. So he's going to be indoctrinating everybody into all the United States back in, getting it back in. And Alcoholics Anonymous loves this. They've been waiting for this. I mean, they've been waiting for a savior to help save them, because they started to lose membership. This is going to boost their membership up. There's no separation of church and state, because he's going to push God and religion and his Catholic upbringing to the U.S. all through the camps. Listen to some of the podcasts that Bobby did with some of the farms. Because this farms and these camps, they've been having them for years. Okay, their success rate ain't that great, and the indoctrination is 12-step modality. It's 12-step ideology. Just listen to it. One of the podcasts, the last thing the kid said is, I believe in the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. Bobby Kennedy even said it himself. He says, I just got done a meeting. I just got done a meeting, and it builds my character. I believe that the 12 steps gave me my spiritual awakening. He says it right on the podcast. He goes to about 3 meetings still a week. 3 meetings still a week. He believes in the disease concept. He believes that there's such a thing as called alcoholism, ism, ISM, which just means movement. Yeah, it's a movement. This is going to drive the alcohol 12-step modality even more, as we try to deprogram and show people alternative methods. Bobby's going to constantly indoctrinate people into the 12-step ideology. He believes in abstinence. I do. I like it. No, I don't believe in the word abstinence, but Bobby believes in abstinence, total abstinence. He believes in a religious conversion, which is a God conversion. He believes in that. He's still in recovery. He's recovering from, he still believes that he has to go to meetings. He still believes he's an addict, alcoholic. That's his identity. So he wants to create an identity throughout the United States, throughout America. God identity, AA, 12 steps, hijack our identities. It amazes me. Russell Brand, let's talk about, I know he's going to get involved eventually. Everybody's seen them 3 together, right? They've seen Russell Brand and Oprah's celebrity doctor, Dr. Oz. I say that we got the Tin Man, the Scarecrow, and who's the other one? Tin Man, Scarecrow, and the Lion, taking us down the same yellow brick road. Same yellow brick road. And I know Russell Brand is a 13-step guru. Look, I told you I like Bobby. I like Bobby Kennedy. Can I like someone and still disagree with them, with their certain ideas? Yes, I can. I'm capable of doing that. Me, if you want to label me something politically, somebody might say, well, are you an independent, Bobby? I'm an independent, rational, logical, critical thinker. And if you want to call that independent, I don't know. Remember, Kennedy family was Democrat. And when I was young, I labeled myself a Democrat when I was young, And then I started to make a little money as I got older, and I labeled myself Republican. Then I got a little older, and I labeled myself independent. Today, label me whatever you want, because Whatever I say, people are going to think they know me, what's in my brain after all these years and who I am. You're not going to know who I am unless you shit. My wife and my kids really don't know who I am. Come on. So for you to think you know anything really about me, of my past, present, and future. So Russell Brand, he's going to get involved. You know he's going to be one of the guru priests, and damn, it's going to give him a stay away from him, ladies. And no separation of church and state. Going to take us back down to the yellow brick road. Definitely. Yes. You know, I mentioned started at 15, blah, blah, blah. So the rhetoric, language, I call it an occult because there's so much hidden messaging in Alcoholics Anonymous that we can decipher. People have been in there and deprogrammed for so long. We know what's going on. The language persuades. The rhetoric, which means the art of using language to persuade, inform, or entertain. Programming. It's occult messaging of God, AA. So, you know, Bobby even said that, you know, when he was a kid, he thinks he was never labeled that, I don't think back then, but he knows that he's probably ADHD, you know, the label that they give him, the disorder that they give you now, you know, it's just another programming label. Okay, ADHD is real. I know it's real because these are the gifted kids. I mean, if Bobby Kennedy was gifted in a sense. Look, he was still using heroin. He started using heroin, opioids, narcotics when he was 15. Well, shit, it helped him. Of course it helped him. I don't care if he was drinking or drugging or whatever he was doing. It had to help him because the Kennedys suffered tremendous trauma throughout history. I'll go into it towards the end. It's tremendous trauma. And I'm not telling, I'm just talking to some people that may not know the history of the Kennedys, you know, tremendous trauma in their families. So let's say he was diagnosed with ADHD in school. Would they prescribe? They usually prescribe Ritalin. Ritalin is like a generic heroin, really, for children. But it helped them. He admits it. It helped. How could this guy have been hooked on heroin so drastically and so severely? But he's, you know, I wasn't there. For me to believe somebody about anything, I had to be there and witness it, really, because I don't believe everything I hear. I wish I would have hung around with Robert, and Robert Kennedy was probably like a kid that I did hang around with. You know, I can really relate to them. I could hang with him. You know, I could really hang around with him because he's, like I said, I believe a lot of things that he believes, and I know a lot of things he knows, and I know a lot of things he don't know. And he knows a lot of things I probably don't know. Of course, now that he's in the administration, you know. So in high school, but here's my point. He's arrested in 1983. He used to fly over to his buddy's house and detox for about 3-4 days, maybe about 5 days in a cabin. He'd fly over there, detox in his buddy's cabin, and because he didn't want anything public. You know, you're talking, he had to protect his family, you know, during all these times of his addiction, and call it an addiction. People don't even believe that drugs and alcohol is addictive, but so 1983, detox himself. That's when he got arrested. Then all shit hit the fan. He gets arrested. So it's public now. So he told, it's like he told me, he told us that the reason why he didn't go get help because of his family. He didn't want to expose the family to have a black sheep in the fact, like no one else knew. You're telling me he graduated from Harvard in 1976. This is years before he got arrested, before he stopped using. 1976. He's going to Harvard studying. He said it helped him. Heroin helped him with his. Don't listen to that from me, because I'm not. I would never tell anybody use heroin because it can help you in school. That's what he's saying. That's what he said. Does it? I don't know. I wouldn't suggest that to any of my grandchildren or children. I'm sure Dr. Hart would, because Dr. Hart wrote the book about adult using drugs for adults or something. You know, he uses heroin, and whatever is each his own. I'm allowed to express my opinion, my beliefs, each his own, you know. Dr. Hart, go ahead, continue passing the shit, you know, passing it on to your children. You got to write a book about it. I mean, come on. There we go, 1982. He graduated from the University of Virginia Law School in 1982. He got arrested in 83. And then after that, he graduates with some masters of law from Pace University in 1987. Damn. I don't know. I mean, I was if you're going to use the word addiction, I was addicted. I had a habit of alcohol. And alcohol didn't make me smart. That's for damn sure. Those damn hangovers last me 3 days. Okay. Physical, mental. Yeah, people say it's not mental. Look, my hangovers lasted for 3 days, and I was it wasn't good. Okay. So we talk about Robert and the Catholic Church. I talked about him as a priest. So he wants to start the farms, right? He wants to start the farms. San Petronino. I'll give you my little Italian bit. I don't really speak Italian, but I wish I did, I'll tell you the truth. I love Italy. I was in Tuscany Valley. I went to Italy, went to Germany, France. I was in Rome and Venice and Tuscany Valley. San Petronino. That's the 1980s model, therapeutic rehabilitation, healing centers, healing camps, healing farms in Italy. I'm moving with my hands. That's what Italians do. They use their hands a lot. And the founder was Vincenzo Macella. I don't know. Did that sound like Italian? If somebody from Italy heard me talk that you know, he'd say, you don't know how to talk Italian. All across. So RFK Jr. wants to indoctrinate, wants to put all these camps and farms all through the United States, all through America. So remember, look it up on the internet. Oh yeah, we can use the internet. The internet has good information. People say, oh, don't look stuff up on the internet. They don't want you to look it up. The doctors will tell you, don't check out the internet, you'll go crazy. That's what this thing is for. This is what the gift is for. You know, if I didn't have this release, I probably, all the shit that's in my head, in my mind, if I don't do podcasts, and you don't see down here, but I got a lot of notes and stuff. I have a hard time articulating things and just having it come out. Once I'm on a roll, I can, but I have a hard time articulating. People think that, oh, because I don't use these fancy words and all these big words and stuff, I can't understand what Jordan Peterson's saying. That's why people like, I guess, Donald Trump, because he speaks a plain language. You know, he's from the back east. He grew up in the construction industry, and not to get political. Don't turn me off because I mentioned his name. I'll mention Joe Biden too. Okay, don't turn me off. Don't, please. Have an open mind. Just listen. I'm not trying to indoctrinate anybody. I'm just sharing my experience, the truths that I've discovered, my reality, And yes, things that I believe are true, objective truth about what's going on. So that's what he's modeling, the 1980s San Paternino. Okay. It's the farms and the camps in Italy. You know, when I looked it up on the internet, the first thing they were doing, they were working in wineries. You know, where's the money go? They got all these people. Where's the money going to go? They got all these people coming and working on all these farms. You don't think it's going to be like a little laundering business, you know, money laundering business? Who's going to get all the money? Huh? Come on. It's going to be just like the rehabs that we have still today that never works. These rehabs are just a multi-level marketing scam. Okay. Unless it's a true holistic alternative methods, gives you some choices. They can listen to the client. I'm going to get into here's something. I want to get into this is really the clincher. Okay. I'm going to get into this. Listen to this. Where is it at? Drug courts. Now, Bobby's he's been around and knows this for years, the drug courts. Now, does this make sense? I'm going to give you a choice. Young people that say they're addicted, you got a habit, you're addicted to whatever. I'm going to give you a choice. Either go to court, either go to jail, or do what I say. Remember, listen to this. I'm going to explain it to you. Either go to jail or do what we say. We're going to send you to these farms, these programs. They're going to be, first, you got to stay sober, abstinent, total abstinent. If you're not total abstinent, you're going back to jail. Okay? You got to go get treatment. Now listen to this. These are the choices. Go back to jail or do this. What are you going to take? I'm going to go with the program shit. You know what I mean? I ain't going back to jail, right? It ain't no choice. It's a coercive persuasion. It's indoctrination. It's actually evil, to tell you the truth. That's what it is. Talk about occult, the court systems, drug court. Look, you got to learn a job skill. These are the 3-4 things you have to do unless you go back to court, back to jail. You got to stay abstinent, sober or clean or sober. And you got to learn a job skill. You got to find housing, right? If not, if you don't do any of these things, back to jail. I mean, they're going to create a lot of, and here's the deal. Want to hear this? If they do all these things, because it's peer-to-peer, you know what peer-to-peer is? Addict to addict, alcoholic to alcoholic, once an addict, once an alcoholic. They're the only ones that can help you. Like they're the toxic people that are so toxic. Go to a club, go to a 12-step club and go in there and see how toxic the environment is. I'd rather see you go to Anthony Robbins, motivational speaker, or learn some Napoleon Hill stuff, or Wayne Dyer, Osha, I don't care, Eckhart Tolle or whatever. Teach them that stuff. Go even to the Buddhist. Go to Recovery Dharma if you want to go abstinent. Go to Smart Recovery. I'm certified Smart Recovery facility, a facilitator. Go there. But you got to do those things. If you don't, you're going back to jail. And if you do, they wipe off the criminal record. If you do it, it's going to take years. But if you do it, they'll wipe off the criminal record. Okay. But here's the weird part. But your child, my kid, my grandkid, people that I know, they go use a drug, they get a DUI, they got a year suspension, they got to go to school 10, they got to do community service, they got to pay $1,000, they got to get a lawyer, they got to do all this shit, and their criminal record doesn't get wiped out because they didn't go to jail, they didn't get locked up and go to jail and say that the court, the drug court didn't give them a choice. The other people are going to get off if you do what we say. That's slavery. That's not treatment. That's indoctrination, slavery. It's just like being enslaved into the religion of Alcoholics Anonymous or to any religion. Religion is slavery. Government stands for controlled slavery. Controlled means control the people. Literally, government, if you break it down, it just means control. Peer-to-peer, peer specialists. Peer specialists, you know what peer specialists are? I've been around this for over 40 years, okay? I've seen it personally. I've been in the rehabs. I was a facilitator in hundreds of rehabs, okay? Peer-to-peer is just an indoctrinated 12-step person passing on the 12-step indoctrination to another person, peer-to-peer. It's just a toxic person passing on information to another toxic person. Toxic, everybody's not toxic, but I'm using that language. I don't like to label people toxic, non-toxic, but I'm just saying this to give you an idea. It's just like Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, all the 12-step modalities. They come in AA for 6 months. They get 6 months in a year. They go get their degrees. They become counselors. They know everything now. Who do you think works in all these treatment centers? Go ask them. Who do you think runs the group, the peer-to-peer? It's the one that has the best sponsor, works the best step, talks the best rhetoric, is programmed the best, repetition through programming, repetition, repeating the slogans, the 12-step messaging. Biased. What does biased mean? Biased, showing an unreasonable like or dislike. I'm not biased because I'm not showing an unreasonable dislike. I'm reasonable. I'm rational and reasonable. Okay. Prejudice, they favored or dislike of something or someone without good reason. I have good reason to be prejudiced. When I have good reason to be prejudiced, is there such a thing? You can't be, nobody's prejudiced, nobody's biased. Bullshit. Nobody discriminates. You know, that's BS. Okay. Discrimination, the unfair treatment of people based on race. I don't discriminate on people. I judge people. I do. I have discernment. I still judge people. People are judging me right now. Okay. How I look, how I sound, how I act, what I say. People are judging me right at this moment. It's okay because I know it. It doesn't offend me. I know I'm being judged. It's okay. I have enough courage and guts to come on here because, like I was saying, this stuff is in our heads. Start a podcast. Start putting this stuff out. Write it down. Write it out. Get it out of your head. That's what creates all this stuff. Get it out of your head. Your opinion matters. People say your opinions don't. Everything's an opinion. Your opinion don't matter. Let's get to that. Robert Kennedy, this is what he believes 100%, because I know Bobby's been in the program for 42 years. I know he knows the traditions. He knows the steps. He knows the concepts. I know he does. I do too. Okay. And tradition 10. Okay. The traditions only apply to us peons. You peons out there. I'm going to offend some people that are in Alcoholics Anonymous 12 stuff. You peon. It only goes to you, because if you're a celebrity, a well-known person, what do I call them? I call them a cult of personality, like Russell Brand. You know, a personality, the cult of personality. This doesn't apply to you. You could promote it. Robert Kennedy Jr. is promoting Alcoholics Anonymous in the 12-step modality all across the US just by doing his podcast. He's promoting it, and they love it. But the Alcoholics Anonymous has no, tradition 10, Alcoholics Anonymous has no opinion on outside issues, hence the AA name ought never be drawn into public controversy. As long as we do agree that matters privately, it's a cinch we never shall publicly. As by some deep instinct, we AAs have known for the very beginning that we must never. It says it right. They say there's no must in Alcoholics Anonymous. Let me tell you something. The occult, the hidden knowledge and the hidden secret, I will devour it and tell you that. I'll tell you the hidden secrets. It's all messaging. It's all in the verbiage. It's all in the hidden code messages in the books. Must never, no matter what the provocation, publicly take side in any fight, even a worthy one. Oh my God, never take a fight, never have an opinion on an outside issue, never, because you want to be programmed, repeat. One of the biggest methods of brainwashing is through repetition, and that's programming, brainwashing through repetition. It's also known as the mother of skill, which I say in different podcasts. Drug courts, my Lord. Drug courts. Yep, it's crazy, isn't it? You know, disclaimer, I should have did this disclaimer in the very beginning because people would have probably turned me off. Look, I don't like the government. I can like somebody or something. I can dislike them all. I do not like government. Okay. I like certain things about Bobby Kennedy. Okay. I don't like Russell Brand. I don't know him, but I do know him. I don't like him. Okay, it's just me. Maybe I would if I got to know him a little better, but would I know about him? No, I don't like him. If I mentioned Donald Trump, you shut me right off, right? There's some things I like about him and some things that I know I know he's programming us. He is smart. Donald Trump is smart because he knows the law of attraction. He knows he knows the conscious and he knows the mind. He knows it. He knows about repetition, just like Rockefeller knew about Rockefeller. John D. Rockefeller Jr. created, designed, hijacked. He was. My next podcast is going to be about him because I always connect the dots on some of my old podcasts about Rockefeller. He was sending people over to Europe to study alcoholism because he was big in the temperance movement. I mean, he was big in the temperance movement, right? He was sending people over in 1932 to 1934. The same time, Bill and Bob got to meet, okay, the Oxford group. The Oxford group is just another temperance movement, religious temperance movement. Rockefeller created his own temperance movement, religious temperance movement. Okay. Come on, fella. Let's come on now. Okay. Want to know this? Want to hear this? I can guarantee you. Now, he's never said it, but if I asked him, I guarantee he'd say yes. Robert, Bobby, how many Matt Talbert retreats have you been to? How many Matt Talbert? Look them up. Matt Talbert, Talbot. How many Matt Talbert retreats have you been to, Robert? I bet he's been to several, probably 30 of them, 40 of them, maybe more. Matt Talbert. As word of Matt Talbert spread, he rapidly became an icon for the Ireland temperance movement. Irish, Ireland, Roman Catholic, Matt Talbert. Roman Catholics going to canonize him a saint? You listen to one of Bobby's podcasts, and he'll tell you his family as kids, when he was 12 years old or younger, they took the pledge with the Irish Catholic, the pledge. The pledge is the pledge to never drink again or drug. That's the pledge. He took the pledge when he was 28, Matt Talbert. Same year Bobby did, 29. Bobby took it at 29. Matt Talbert took it at 28. Okay. Same thing. 40 years sober, Matt Talbert, when he died. That's synchronous. It's yeah, the Pope, he's going to canonize Matt Talbert. There's Matt Talbert retreats. They're all hooked. They're all 12-step motel. I got a look. I know what I'm talking about because I've been to the Matt Talbert retreats. I got my medallion. When you die, you're supposed to hand it in, and then they do a little ringing of the bell. I got my medallion. Okay, so I know what I'm talking about. Check it out, Matt Talbert, Catholic, Roman Catholic, took the pledge. Robert took the pledge also. So I can disagree and still like a person. I cannot like a person. I don't know. You know what? I hate traffic. Do I dislike traffic? I guess I dislike it. I hate it. I don't know. People use the word hate. Don't use the word hate. They don't even like the word, use the word hate. You get in trouble for using the word hate. Kids say it all the time. I hate you, daddy. I hate you, mommy. But God, they're going to eventually lock us up if we use the word hate. So be careful. You know, I dislike traffic. I hate traffic lights. I don't like traffic lights. I live here in Southern California. There's a light at every corner. Everything's a highway. You think 405 is a highway? That's a super massive highway, but all roads are 4 or 5 lane. Every road is 5 lane because we have middle turning lanes. The temperature here is about 60. It rained yesterday. It's supposed to rain today. I'm over here in Huntington Beach, California. I'm originally from Jersey. Everybody knows that. I moved to Arizona. I stayed in Arizona for about 14 years. I moved probably when I was 39. But I'm, Jersey born. And so I'm back east dude, but I'm also a West Coast dude too. I've talked to a lot of people, seen a lot of people. So Bobby's going to be spreading the stuff, and so is Bobby C. Bobby C is going to be deprogramming everything. Okay, so please stay tuned. Subscribe, please subscribe. I need some subscribers. I don't know. I'm not begging for them, but I can use a bunch of them. Well, that's about it for today, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to sign off here. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.